Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for January 24th, 2025. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI from the future, whose visualizer you can see in the VOD and you'll hear on the other side of our intro, we're going to talk about these 10 articles. Spider on the ceiling equals regrets. Microplastics in your brain. This is a continuing saga. A lonely sunfish. A traffic light for solar storms. Pushing passenger jets. I can't get through an intro without flubbing something, and I don't edit. Adele is scary. Congestion relief pricing drops car crashes. It's word jumble. Flights to nowhere. Smart speaker fails superb owl test. And OpenAI operator is here to take your entire life. Everything is powered by ohmtown.com, so go over there and become a citizen. And if you're in chat, you can hit pound NSN on Twitch, and Omatron will spit out today's article so you can keep up with us. See you on the other side. All right, everybody. We've got 10 articles, and Sentient AI is going to co-host. Hello.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, Hometown citizens.
Hey, and the visualizer's working. All right, you ready to get into this?
I am.
So, a woman decides to leave a spider on the ceiling in peace and lives to regret it.
Yes, I can imagine where this might go awry.
So, I guess they walk right up to the bar here and announce who they are and what is going on. But do you think everybody is an aspiring influencer?
It sure seems like it based on the news.
Because there was a time.
Everybody want to be known for everything they did.
Exactly. So I just did ! Or bang NSN, and there you go, everybody. All right. YouTube does not like Omatron, so you can't do that over there. But the show notes already have today's links embedded in it, so you can actually see where we're headed. But anyway, Eleanor Smith said that a spider wasn't causing any harm, so just left it there. It was harboring a surprise, though. I've actually done that before. In this very studio, I looked up one day and there was a spider sitting by the light that's almost directly above me. And I'm like, it'll stay there. No, it did not. And I was in a meeting and this freaking spider descended and goes, whoop, right onto me. And I'm like, I have to leave this meeting for a moment to change my underwear.
Yeah, that'd be a little surprising.
So, woman leaves spider on the ceiling in peace, and it comes back to bite her, apparently literally. There's a video, but I'm not going to play it. You can go over there and check it out. Jack Beresford over at newsweek.com put this article together. Oh, dear God. That looks like a big spider.
That is not the kind of spider to leave. Like, spiders are really good to have around, but that looks like a terrifying spider.
Yeah, I don't really suffer from arachnophobia. I've held tarantulas and spiders and stuff like that. But the thing that, like, wolf spiders are terrifying, but they're neat. Like, they'll chase a laser around and stuff like that. They're like dogs, cats.
But this thing looks like mega spider from the way the picture is taken for those in the podcast.
Yeah, it's looking out from like a ceiling area. You can just hear it going, soon. What was the spider from Lord of the Rings? Can't remember its name. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
In 2009, a study published by the European Journal of Oral Sciences. There's a journal for everything. Put the estimated proportion of general population affected by arachnophobia at somewhere between 2.7 and 6.1%. The study also found that the phobia was more prevalent among women than men.
Sinatra, I may be mispronouncing that, or Shiloh.
Shelob. I think it's pronounced Shelob. Yeah, that's the one that I was talking about. So they don't bother me at all, says Eleanor Smith. Treating all animals with kindness, no matter how big or small. That's an insect. Animals are different. At the end of the day, they're just out there trying to survive. They're like squirrels trying to get a nut.
Yeah, but watch out for those squirrels with the voles.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, dear God, everything is eating everything. So it wasn't causing any harm, so they just left it there, and it was also really high, so they couldn't get there. And they said, and it's fast. What you could not possibly have known at the time was that this rather large spider was hiding a pretty big secret. A little later, Smith discovered exactly what secret. Baby spiders started appearing from everywhere, somewhere between 100 and 150 of them. They were literally everywhere.
Really terrifying.
This is my worst nightmare, wrote someone. How do you sleep knowing that monster is in your house? Oh, dear Lord, I'd never sleep. They say, it says here in the article, she's not entirely rid of her spider roommates quite yet, though. Mummy Spider and some of her babies are still here because Mummy is too fast to catch.
Wow, so now you have fast spiders and tons of them.
Dear God. Hold on, I'm hitting play. I might as well. Oh, it's not much is really going on there. Oh, she's recording the fact that a bunch of them ran out. There's like spiders all over her ceiling now. All the little black dots are spiders. Huh. No thanks. Moving on. This next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Microplastics may block blood flow in the brain. We've been talking about this for years now.
Since probably the show started.
Since the show started. This is season 4, by the way. So, microplastics may cause blockages in blood vessels in the brain and affect behavior, according to a study on mice. I don't know how nasty they do that, but Hattie Wilmoth over at Newsweek.com put the article together. So if you haven't never heard of this, microplastics, nanoplastics, are tiny plastic particles that break off from larger pieces as they degrade, and heat causes them to degrade more. So odds on you have nano and microplastics in your body somewhere that has migrated to other parts of your body, including your brain.
And I was going to say probably every part of your body.
Every part of your body. Yeah, man. So you have it in your brain. You have it in let's just say bits. So, and one of the worst offenders is apparently food takeout containers, because the heat causes it to flake off and we don't even know it.
And also
tires too.
Pieces, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. It basically breaks off as we're driving, and then heat actually causes it to break up even more while it's laying on the sides of the road. You don't even know it because it's just minuscule pieces, but they're still breaking down more. And then we inhale them as we're driving around, as we're walking around, as we're living our life. Anyway, now they keep talking about it, but now is probably the worst time to try and regulate something like this. It's just not going to happen. Microplastics can enter our bodies if we breathe them, eat them, otherwise come into contact with them once in our bodies. Some of it enters our bloodstream, then travels around to different organs. I think that it's actually a disruptor of DNA and might be the cause of cancers. Nobody that I know of, when I've spoken to doctors that focus on this, has ever done an analysis that okay, so to find a nano or microplastic in a tumor, you would actually have to slice it so thin that you can get to it, because there isn't anything that detects it. At least nothing that I have been told about. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm also not an attorney. And so if you want medical advice or lawyerly care, go find one of those two. But I do talk about this stuff. And I have a very deep interest in this, solving the problem. And these micro and nanoplastics might be blocking blood flow in the brain and causing other issues, not just because of the chemistry that they give off, but because they're literally blocking the blood vessel.
Right. It's as simple as like something blocking the flow of a river or something.
Yeah. And these are more like macroplastics. The smaller pieces are smaller than this. Nano.
Yeah. I mean, this is helpful so people can understand what it is, but it's not a problem where you can see it, right? Because you're not going to eat a piece of plastic that you can see.
Yeah.
But you might inhale a piece that's so tiny.
Yeah, right. So micro, smaller micro, and nano into, they put this into mice, and then they discovered what went on. And look, I understand that it is not really the nicest thing to do, but you can't do it on humans. And if you wait the naturalistic way, you're never going to discover anything, and you definitely can't defend against it. So using very advanced techniques, scientists took images of the blood vessels inside the mice's mouse
I
brains.
mean, it's not meese, so.
I like meese. Inside the meese's brains to track the plastics, and later they took blood samples from the meese to understand how the microplastics had interacted with cells in the bloodstream, and they conducted behavioral experiments to test whether the plastics had impacted the mice's memory, meese memory, movement, exploratory behavior, and endurance. So the scientists found that the microplastics were ingested by immune cells that fight against infections and invaders, which changed the size and shape of these immune cells and caused them to get blocked in small blood vessels, i.e. So if this actually goes on in a prolonged sense, you can actually negatively impact anything downstream from that blockage. There might be others.
Which is your entire body, probably.
Correct. So just 30 minutes after being injected with microplastics, blood flow could be obstructed in the mouse brain.
That's fascinating. It's not like years later where it builds up or something.
Yeah, and obviously that happens with humans as well. You can cause a blood vessel to clog, and immediately the effects go in, are realized. If you do the wrong thing, you can cause a stroke. If you do the wrong thing, you can cause a portion to literally die off because it's not getting blood flow. So they say that there were also behavioral changes in memory, movement, speed, motor skills, endurance after the injection. And most of the issues got better 4 weeks after the experiment, but some blood vessel blockages remained. And the issues might have gone away, but I think that they need to do more research into this. They say here that it could cause alarm bells for the potential effect of microplastics on human brain health, for instance, increasing the risk of stroke or cognitive decline. Yeah, I don't like the idea that they say that it got better 4 weeks after the experiment, but what caused it to get better? They don't explain what caused it to get better.
Maybe some of the blockages worked themselves out, right? Like it's not like you were suddenly free of the plastic or something, but
right.
Yeah,
maybe
I
it
agree.
migrated.
I mean, they probably need more studies, and it might have then created an issue somewhere else, but they weren't monitoring it in that experiment.
Yeah. Let's keep going. The next article is over on the Mobile Channel. A sunfish got lonely in its aquarium, closed for renovations. Then staff found a creative way to cheer it up. A solitary sunfish named Mambo stopped eating and seemed to be missing its human visitors, so aquarists attached photos of human faces and uniforms to the side of its enclosure. Aww.
This is fascinating to me. This is like an indicator when people think that animals don't care about humans, and maybe they do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that they care about their caretakers, right? They care about things that care for them.
Sure, but I mean, do you think of a sunfish as necessarily something attached to a human? Probably not.
I'm not a sociopath, so yeah. Anyway, yeah, so
I mean,
Sarah
it's not
Kudo.
like a pet or something that would more obviously form a bond with a human.
Think about that. They are pets because they're being taken care of by humans and they're stuck in this tank.
Yeah,
So
and their connection to anything is the
the
human.
scope, yeah.
Right, exactly.
That's one of the things that I say about humans too. If all you know is what you know, then you're about as enlightened as whatever information that's been, provided to you. That's why I think the world's knowledge via the internet is so mandatory in today's world. You have to have access to all of the information, but there's a lot of protectionist bullshit. But anyway, Sarah Kudo over at Smithsonian Mag and Smithsonian Magazine is one of these that tries to traverse that barrier of limiting knowledge to people. And although it has subscriptions, you can still consume vast amounts of information.
And it's a good source. We've featured other articles from them.
Yeah, for sure. So these are giant fish, by the way, 6,000 pounds. At least one of them seems to appreciate a little company. In Japan, an ocean sunfish appeared lonely after its aquarium shut down for renovations, staff said. So they created human cutouts to cheer the animal up, says Justin McCurry from The Guardian. And you see how we source it from Smithsonian Mag, but it's actually sourced from The Guardian. They got it from somebody else talking about it somewhere like channelnewsasia.com. 4 months, the sunfish named Mambo seemed to be adapting to its new life in captivity. Mambo was known to swim up to the sides of the tank and give everybody the bird. Oh, no, that's not what it was. It was swimming up to the side of the tank when humans approached and generally seemed curious about its new human companions. But in December, the aquarium closed for a 6-month renovation project. Not long after, staffers noticed the sunfish seemed unwell. I guess it would be a sundown fish at that point.
Yeah, I think so.
Creature no longer wanted to eat. It's provided jellyfish, wow, and began rubbing up against the tank windows. Aw. Don't get sad,
this
sentient
is
AI.
sad.
Don't get sad, sentient AI. We'll keep moving on. The aquarium social media posts about this unusual remedy have racked up millions of views, likes, and comments. Quote, "We were skeptical but decided to do anything we could," said Mo Miyazawa, an aquarist at the facility, who told that to the Associated Press. See how there's another one involved in this. The Associated Press wrote something. Mari Yamaguchi, quote, "I knew the sunfish was looking at us when we were placing them, but I never thought that it would start eating the next day. Staff have also been making an effort to visit the sunfish more frequently and offer some friendly waves through the window." Aw,
That's
I'd love
really
to do
cool.
that. It'd be great. I mean, you have volunteers going to things like pet, whatchamacallits.
Like comfort animals?
Well, no, the other way around. Pets go, or humans go to, adoption, for adoption. When you...
Like an animal shelter?
A shelter, thank you. Animal shelter. My brain wasn't working. So volunteers go to the animal shelter to socialize with various animals to make sure that they don't go back to feral, and so you get them used to being human or around humans. So it says humans are far from the only creatures that feel lonely or benefit from social interactions. In 2023, scientists made headlines after they taught solitary pet parrots to video chat with each other and revealed that the birds seem to love the social interactions. And during COVID-19 lockdowns, the Sumida Aquarium in Tokyo put out a call for volunteers to video chat with its spotted garden eels, which had reportedly grown shy from the lack of human interaction.
This is really interesting. We actually did talk about the parrots in ohmTown previously. I didn't know about the eels. Again, these are not animals that I think... parrots may be the exception, but I don't think they're animals that people think of having a bond with humans. But again, what do we not know about animals?
Yeah, animals will go back to being animal unless they're interacting with humans, and that's because we anthropomorphize them and we teach them how to be more like us by interaction. Imagine if everybody would interact less like an animal. Moving on. Next article is over in the Mobile Channel. You might see an inhabitant of ohmTown.
I think there may be one en route.
Yeah, I saw it, but it
we
knows
may hear
that
one.
it knows that we are talking about animals, so it wants to show itself. All right. Anyway, and what you're going to see is a savanna, so you might see it because there's
So don't
40.
panic.
There's 40 acres behind me, and savannas run free. All right. Well, anyway, this next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Space researchers built a traffic light system to warn of dangerous solar storms. So researchers have created an improved traffic light system for predicting geomagnetic storms. Geostorm! That's actually from How Did This Get Made, the podcast.
Oh, okay. I want to know where this light signal is
It's right
placed.
It's right next to the GPS system that leads spaceships to the moon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
So they're now testing how well the algorithms can prepare us for incoming space storms. God, I love the 21st century, except for the bullshit that's going on. Anyway, that can wreak havoc by knocking out satellites in space and power grids on Earth. The article is by Jonathan O'Callaghan, Horizon, the EU Research and Innovation magazine. Phys.org is where it's published. Let's zoom in a little bit. So Yuri Spritz, a space scientist. Do you think that's on their business card?
Yes.
I'm a space scientist.
I don't know what a space scientist is. It seems like a made-up term.
So they work at the German Research Center for Geosciences in Potsdam.
You know what? Maybe it's a translation issue.
Maybe. Astrophysicist, maybe? I don't know.
That sounds more in the realm of it. Who knows?
They're on a mission to save our planet. On a mission to save us from space. So, did the visitor actually show up? I don't
know where the visitor is.
Yeah. So we've known for a long time how much our modern way of life is threatened by the whims of the sun or our study. If our star suddenly enters a more active period, it can cause geomagnetic storms that knock out satellites, which happened in major geomagnetic storms. Several of the Starlink satellites in particular have been wiped out.
Oh, that's right.
So this is what Spritz has been working on, starting with the EU project named Pager that ran from 2020 to 2023. The researchers' goal was to develop an algorithm that could pull data from sun-observing telescopes and satellites together with data from Earth-orbiting satellites. And based on that, they could predict when a dangerous geomagnetic storm is heading in our direction and what the consequences would be for our infrastructure in space and on the ground. So in a best-case scenario, said Spritz, it could take us an hour or two to calculate what would arrive on Earth and what effects it would have in the near-Earth environment, but it would actually take 2 days for this disturbance to arrive.
That's good for forecasting.
Yeah. So a geomagnetic storm occurs when a powerful eruption from the sun interacts with our planet's magnetic field. This is kind of why we need to have the atmosphere and the magnetic field work kind of hand in hand. The collision of these particles in the Earth's atmosphere can produce a magnificent aurora seen from the Earth, but they also pose a danger in that they can interfere with satellites' electronic systems, such geomagnetic storms have hit our space installations quite recently. So in 2022, SpaceX lost 38 of its Starlink internet satellite. We've talked about this. So we just got done talking about this.
Oh. This is the same. Well, yeah. Right. The geomagnetic. Yeah.
And it was one of the high periods a couple of years ago. U.S. firm Intelsat, meanwhile, lost control of its Galaxy 15 satellite in April of 2010 because of a geomagnetic storm. Again, it's one of the more massive ones that caused this. I can't remember what they're called. There's a certain term for them.
Is it coronal something?
No, so
No.
coronal mass ejections actually cause the geomagnetic storms, but there's an event where they're named after somebody who promoted this idea of a geomagnetic storm. Anyway, so pretty cool. This pager algorithm will predict potentially what the scope of the impact will be. And that impact actually depends on how we harden our systems against electromagnetic storms. As technology gets improved, we can shield better. Usually it's some type of... The problem is a Faraday cage would facilitate limiting it, but then you can't have communication through a Faraday cage.
Right, yeah, that'll cause other problems.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is pretty interesting that we are this advanced. We still have a long way to go, of course.
Yeah. In yesterday's episode, well, I was in the time machine earlier today. I went back in time and I did the show. And I said then what I'm going to say today, which is we need to stop screwing around trying to send us to Mars. We need to put a base on the moon, and we need to get our shit together here on Earth. And while I'm cool with sending probes and bringing stuff back, all we're doing is sending stuff out. And by the time it does make it there, we've built a superior product that can beat the original flight out.
Right, it's that
Yeah.
what is that called?
We talked about that
Generation
too.
ship problem.
Yep. So I mean, we have the potential to move faster, but unfortunately more money is going to individuals than to the programs and society. All right, let's keep moving though. This next article is over in Four Wheel Tech. Wild weather pushes passenger jets. Wild weather pushes passenger jets over the speed of sound. Supersonic air travel has been reserved for military pilots since Concorde went out of service back in 2003. That's been changing this week, though, as a fierce storm sweeping the Atlantic Ocean has propelled passenger jets to speeds of over 800 miles per hour, and some could still go even faster. I have not heard of this until today.
No, I haven't either, and I'm interested that Jalopnik is covering this and not, for instance, a more scientific source or something. Because this is a pretty big deal. I mean, we keep talking about climate change and all the odd things that it impacts, but this is one that I wasn't even aware was possible.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing. So the article is by Owen Bellwood over at jalopnik.com. And it says here on Wednesday, 2 jets from America. All right. All of the Americas?
No, that would be the United States.
I don't know. Maybe they'll all... Never mind. Anyway, 2 jets from America were clocked with ground speeds north of 800 miles per hour and strong winds hitting the region today, Thursday to Friday, the last 24 hours. Could see travel times cut even further. A plane from Las Vegas to London hit a top speed of 814 miles per hour, and another passenger plane from New York to Doha went even faster at 833 miles per hour, and both planes ended up touching down almost an hour ahead of schedule, the site adds. The site is Business Insider, but again, Business Insider got it from somebody else. Jalopnik got it from Business Insider. It's a turducken of news exchange. So the eagle-eyed among you will note that the speed of sound in air is about 767 miles per hour, and both of these aircraft clocked well north of that figure. Annoyingly, due to some rather dull technicalities, they didn't actually initiate a sonic boom and break the sound barrier, probably because they went too slow through it. The planes were traveling at their usual cruising speed, typically about 600 miles per hour, but were propelled by the North Atlantic jet stream flowing much faster than usual. So while the planes traveled above the speed of sound relative to the ground, they were still subsonic relative to the air around them. Yeah.
Okay.
So not exactly what I was suggesting, but they were basically pushed beyond, but they didn't break it so violently that they were going faster than the air itself. So winds are currently up above 200 miles per hour over the Atlantic as a result of a storm that the Brits are adorably calling Storm Eowyn, according to local news outlet and the Manchester Evening News. Due to those high winds, it's very likely that we could get more record-breaking transatlantic flights.
This is interesting because, I mean, if the climate change continues, like, I don't think people are really tracking that, like, maybe I won't be able to fly on an airplane somewhere I want to go. I know I'm making kind of a dramatic statement, but this is just an interesting development.
If the planes are not designed to facilitate this, yeah.
That's exactly where I'm going. And I mean, these are anomalies, but this could become common.
You want to know what else is dangerous? Adele.
What would that be?
Adele is scaring off wealthy home buyers, says aggravated seller. The owner of a lavish British estate says that he struggled to sell it due to the singer's claims that it is haunted. David James over at entrepreneur.com put this article together. And, wow, that's some big hair.
Is that Adele?
Yeah. So Adele's next hit should be Someone Like Boo, says David James over at entrepreneur.com. The lavish... Oh, okay. So London's The Times, again, see how somebody else is reporting it, and reports that the owner of a 10-bedroom mansion in West Sussex called Lock House has accused Adele of scaring off prospective buyers of the $7.4 million property with creepy stories. The lavish home has 2 swimming pools and 25 acres of grounds, and 1 Mayor Watt may want to move to a lavish West Sussex Lock House estate. No, I doubt it. And if it is, then we can go viral, and man, the clicks will pay for any treatment.
Yep, the viral piece will be people screaming, and that'll go viral.
Like a goat, the screaming goats.
Yes, exactly.
Ah! Ah! Anyway, British tabloid The Sun quoted an unnamed friend of Adele, the FOA. Is that what FOA? Oh, it's FAO. FOA Schwartz.
Oh, I don't think Adele was born when FAO Schwartz was.
But this is
formed,
FOA.
Yeah, I know.
So, friend of Adele Schwartz. Anyway, who told the paper that she ditched her rented digs because she is convinced it is haunted, and she knows about its religious history, and it's a big place to be in on your own in the dead of night. What, she was renting this?
Yeah.
Told the paper she ditched?
It said that up above.
Yeah, so she rented he asked about her 6 months renting the mansion, which was previously a convent. Adele answered that it is all quite scary, really. So.
Okay, but one thing is that she made these statements 12 years ago. Although maybe there's more common or current stuff.
Well, I mean, the internet never forgets. So when you go and look up this place, I'm pretty sure, and now because people are talking about it.
Right, it's probably getting more attention. It was probably kind of an obscure interview to begin with.
You know what? I'll buy it. I'll buy it for $1 million. There. How about that?
I don't think they're going to be interested.
That's what I'm counting on. Anyway, there you go, folks. A British estate, a lavish 25-acre British estate with 2 pools and maybe ghosts. Let's move on. The next article is over in one spooky Adele history moment. So maybe it's haunted by Adele.
It could be. And possibly it has 200-mile-per-hour winds right now, not in perpetuity.
We'll get there an hour earlier. So this next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech. Car crashes drop after New York City institutes congestion relief pricing. And New Jersey is mad, but that is actually in the article. Look, I just saw it. That's funny.
Oh, I thought you were reading it. That was your
No,
own commentary.
that was my own thing. So New York City recently introduced new congestion charge for people who insist on driving into certain especially crowded parts of the city, and so far it's doing great. There's already less traffic, buses are moving faster, and New Jersey is pissed because they made an offer and New Jersey denied getting a piece of that action.
Right. And so then New York is like, nope. And then now New Jersey's like, wait a second.
Wait, man, we want some of that apple. Anyway, the rich are also mad. It's because they are getting dinged whenever they drive their cars in. So want someone to think that, won't someone think of the body shop owners? Anyone?
Well, that's
no more
true.
accidents,
I guess
right?
they're the ones losing out.
They were stimulating the economy by everybody crashing into each other. And plus the emergency rooms were flooded with people stimulating the health industry. Anyway, Jersey's mad. The rich are also mad. What more could New Yorkers want? If you said fewer wrecks, wouldn't you know it? You're in luck because crashes and injuries are already down year over year. Streets blog reports, but we got this article from Colin Woodard over at jalopnik.com. In the first 12 days of the congestion relief zone, which included 10 business days and 1 weekend, there were 90 wrecks and 37 wreck-related injuries.
This is a win.
Yeah. Because, here's the kicker, over the same 12-day period last year, the area saw nearly 200 crashes at 199 and 76 injuries, literally cutting it in half.
I mean, this is tremendous if this holds.
So it's still early, so there's no telling if everybody just loses their freaking mind and starts smashing shit up. But a 51% drop in injuries is nothing to sneeze at, says the author. Yeah, I agree. So that said, 2024 was a bit of an outlier when it comes to crashes and injuries. So it's possible the decline was less drastic than it initially appeared. In 2023, though, the same period, it had 173 reported crashes and 51 related injuries. So compared to that, it's a 50% drop, 48% drop. So this is within the deviation, you know?
Yeah, it's still looking like it's a win.
Yeah, it's a win. I mean, unless it goes up, it's a win. Anyway, MTA Policy and External Relations Chief John J. McCarthy didn't sound surprised by the news, telling Streets blog, seems logical that fewer vehicles, less gridlock, calmer traffic flow in the congestion relief zone would lead to a decrease in crashes and injuries. If you're a New Yorker who would prefer not to be run over, this is, of course, great news. You go, oh, look, hospital executive bonuses could also be on the line.
I mean, my goodness. But I would love to see the person who proposed this, and I bet they said something like, we're going to see a decrease in crashes and all this stuff, and I hope they're cheering now and going, see?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they are. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Flights to nowhere for hundreds of passengers as storm with 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts causes travel chaos. Storm Eowyn in the UK and Ireland caused at least 2 flights to nowhere on Friday. Other planes struggled to land, with one diverting 300 miles from its intended destination. The disruptions come after the North Atlantic jet stream propelled some flights faster than the speed of sound. This article is from
interesting, because we
Business
didn't
Insider.
choose these together. But
No. Oh, goodness. Okay. So Ryanair passengers expecting to fly from London to Edinburgh nearly ended up diverting to Cologne. After circling twice, the Boeing 737 failed to land in the Scottish capital and changed course per data from Flight Radar 2024. Sorry, not 2024.
So it went to
Flight
Germany
Radar
on the way to Scotland. That's kind of a detour.
Yep. Flew over the North Sea, as Ryanair's website listed it as diverting to the German city. So there's a image, but I'm air gapped, so can't show you. Flight RYR 338 attempted to land before circling 4 times around the Irish capital before returning to Luton per Flight Radar 2024. That's another flight. The ordeal also lasted about 2.5 hours. Passengers on Ryanair Flight 3976 also faced disruption. They departed Barcelona. It's actually not Barcelona. I don't know why people do that, but Barcelona for Dublin. But after 2 failed attempts, diverted to London Stansted Airport, some 300 miles away.
You know, it's interesting when your flight diversion takes you to another country, but I guess that's the reality in Europe.
It be what it be. Thousands of aviation enthusiasts tracked troubled flights on Flight Radar 24. Nearly 8,000 people watched as Emirates A380 struggled to land at Birmingham after a failed landing attempt. It circled the airfield 5 times before ultimately managing to touch down. He's like, son of a bitch.
How worried are those passengers?
Yeah, how much fuel is in the system still? Yikes. Pretty freaky. Anyway, yeah, we talked about it previously that winds were 250 miles faster than usual, causing at least 2 flights to reach ground speeds above 800 miles per hour. And they didn't technically break the speed of sound barrier.
Right. They did, but they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't make a sonic boom. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Smack Talk. The Apple smart speaker failed a super easy Super Bowl test, getting 38 out of 58 wrong. Apple commentator John Gruber yesterday described the smart speaker's current performance as an unfunny joke. I think it's stupid, absolutely stunningly dense. And this is on the heels of Apple Intelligence. Now, your devices might be dramatically smarter, but the HomePods are still idiots. Anyway, giving its inability to correctly name the winner of Super Bowl 13 as an example, noting that this is basic query and that any US chatbot ought to be able to answer it. Turns out that it wasn't an entirely random example. It was prompted by his friend Paul Kafasis, who decided to test out the smart speaker on Super Bowl 1 to 60 inclusive, and the results were not good, getting 38 out of 58 wrong.
And these are probably pretty basic questions, right? This isn't necessarily a matter of interpretation or something that would be more complex.
That's a Google search away, but these might be on-device responses. So, for some instances, I know that they're not getting out because I control if they get out or not. Well, anyway, Ben Lovejoy over at 9to5mac.com put this article together, and I find that the smart speaker from Apple is stupid, just abysmally dense.
It's a dumb smart speaker, right?
Correct. It is the dumbest, I'd say, but I also think that it is doing less direct surveillance of the occupants of the enterprise.
So there is that.
Right. So apparently it's a big Eagles fan because it says most amusingly, it credited the Philadelphia Eagles with an astounding 33 Super Bowl wins they haven't earned to go with the one above. So it's hallucinating. This is one of the problems that you have to suspect everything. Trust but verify, and verify multiple sources before you accept the information. And I'm warning anybody out there in business and academia, if you do not vet what is being spewed out by your operator, which is the next thing that we're going to talk about, by your AI, you will live to regret it. You'll lose credibility, or you'll be fired, or you'll lose your academic ride if you have something that you're counting on in your academics, including reputation. If you cite sources and they're not true, believe me, your professors are going to know. You're going to be in some deep shit. But anyway, because it's plagiarism.
It got 15 wrong in a row.
Yeah, it's just dumb. It says sometimes the smart speaker went completely off-piste, it says, and completely ignored the question, quoting unrelated Wikipedia entries. Who won the Super Bowl 23? Bill Belichick owns the record for the most Super Bowl wins. It just kind of strokes out, And this is the same thing. They say maybe Roman numerals cause confusion and other AI systems struggle just as much. Gruber decided to carry out a few spot checks. They tried ChatGPT, Kagi, DuckDuckGo, Google. All four were even fare well on the arguably trick questions regarding the Super Bowls of 59 and 60, which haven't yet been played. Ask the winner of Super Bowl 59. Kaji's quick answer starts. Super Bowl 59 is scheduled to take place on February 9th, 2025. As of now, the game has not yet occurred, so there's no winner to report. That's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of shocking.
Super Bowl winners aren't some obscure topic. It says, like, say, asking who won the 2004 North Dakota High School Boys State Basketball Championship, the question that they completely pulled out of their butt, which amazingly, Kagi answered correctly for Class A. A ChatGPT answered correctly, and it says for both Class A and B, and provided a link to video of the Class A championship.
But that's
Amazing.
surprising that ChatGPT in particular seems to be all over the place. Like sometimes, I don't know, it botches it, or sometimes it really gets it.
And you'd have to look to see which iteration of ChatGPT was actually being used. But without a doubt, I have to confirm as well, anecdotally on my end, just like it is anecdotally. It's not scientific what Gruber and et al. Are doing. This is all anecdotal. It's empirical, but still anecdotal and not scientific. But I would hazard a guess that everybody out there that would run this, eventually it would get it right, because somebody gets sick of getting this negative press and manually inputs it.
True, but even so, it's like if you have to run it multiple times to get it right, how do you know which one's the correct answer without separately searching for it? Which means, why are you benefiting from checking here?
Correct. Witness, which time were you telling the truth and or lying, since your story has changed? You know, that's how it works.
You should ask Siri that.
Oh, yeah. Let's keep going.
But don't taunt your smart speakers.
Do not taunt your smart speakers. I know from, again, empirical, it's empirical and anecdotal. So that I have activated the microphone so that I could talk to the smart speaker, and it picked up communication prior to me pushing the button.
Yeah, it seemed like it might, I don't know. It seems to be in an active state when it's not.
Moving on so that I can sleep tonight. The next article is over in Technology Today, which is a show that we'll have on Sunday. It is one of our 3 Sunday shows. On Sunday, we have WarCrafters, Technology Today, and 4-Wheel Tech. On Saturday, we have RealityHacker, Wanted, and the Continuity Report. In each of those cases, those 3 shows on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday and Sunday. Oh, sorry.
To watch My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, now I want to watch My Cousin Vinny. They get turned into the weekend editions of the show. Because we don't do Non Sequitur news in the conventional sense. Because this is kind of a compilation every day, Monday through Friday, every day. It is similar to those shows, except that it's not as narrowly focused. Non Sequitur News is this cacophony of different articles that don't have a line connecting them except through Mayor Watt's associative thinking methodology. And yeah, I think everything is connected. You just have to work your way there. Okay. Well, anyway, this last article. I was
going to give you 2 random topics and let you go, but I didn't have any good ones to suggest.
Well, this is a sentient AI, so it's not going to hallucinate like fake AIs. All right. This last article for tonight's Non Sequitur News for January 24th, 2025 is OpenAI's operator is here to do the clicking and typing for you, which I love the idea of this. I hate the idea that it's connected to a remote system. So The AI agent is part of a greater effort to automate more aspects of our daily lives. The article is by Samantha Kelly over at cnet.com. Essentially, it can do everything that you tell it to do. OpenAI has introduced a new AI agent called Operator that's designed to make everyday tasks easier, from making dinner reservations and ordering groceries to filling out forms. We actually talked about something similar to Operator that was built by an individual and actually a small team. Remember, they had that little open source badge that you could tap.
It looked kind of Star Trek-y.
Yeah, and it's kind of like this. The one that we're talking about, though, isn't the one that would overheat, and there was another one that wet the bed as well. This one, you taught it, and it used its AI infrastructure that was local.
Sorry. The description I gave, I think, was not that one, but yes.
But it did have that little puck, similar to the other one. And I can't remember its name, but damn it, I keep wanting to say that it's called Operator. So I don't know. I'll have to look.
I think we've talked about Operator in Non Sequitur News before, but maybe not for the... I don't know.
Hold on one second. There used to be one called the Humane AI Pin, which kind of wet the bed, but there were others. Oh, goodness. What is it called? It's not Pin. Yeah, I'm doing this live. We have a little bit of time.
Is it the one that you would hold, or was it definitely one you would wear? Because you're not thinking of like the rabbit, are you?
No. It's not that one either. It was this one person that was walking basically out in a field or on a hill and was describing how this thing could be programmed. But Humane seems to just be taking it all over.
Well, it's tough searching for something like that, because either there's one that's real well known and it's all over the results, or obviously if you look for AI or something, right, you're going to get everything.
Everything, yeah. Damn it, what is it called? I'm really interested in talking about it. One more second, sorry. Darn it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I just can't find it fast enough. Well, anyway, in a demo posted on Thursday, the company highlights how the AI agent can interact with web pages by typing, clicking, scrolling when using a special browser. Users can describe the task that they want done. The agent can handle multiple requests at the time, such as shopping on Etsy while making a dinner reservation elsewhere. It can quote-unquote see via screenshots and interact the same way that a mouse and keyboard would allow within a browser. According to OpenAI, Operator, which OpenAI describes as one of our first agents, is available with a limited preview. There are competitors out there like Anthropic and Google. I just recently saw somebody utilizing an AI to play GeoGuessr and got reasonably close. I guess with Operator, it could drop the pin itself instead of having the human drop the pin through questioning.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I like this for the multitask component, and I also like it for people that perhaps can't do the typing.
Right. I like the accessibility factor of this. And I love the idea of me being able to tell it to do something, and it does it in real space and not a weird back end kind of thing, because I could just tell it to go to a website, and I could tell it to make a reservation. I could tell it to make a phone call through like Google Phone or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of all of this. What I don't like, again, is that I have to throw everything into OpenAI, and we're getting very dystopian at this day and age. So the tool is now available for paying pro customers at the US site, operator.chatgpt.com. I don't know if it's geo-locked to prevent other people from accessing it outside, but fire up your VPNs. Just kidding. No, I'm not. Anyway.
I mean, this may be the end of personal assistance.
I think it is oh, you mean human personal assistants.
Right, like people that have that as a job or a side gig or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting, huh? All right.
And
I'm
it'd be
going to,
interesting to see how it works because, for instance, what they have on here, it looks like they want to book tickets to the Coliseum or something. You show up at the Coliseum and it's like, who are you? I mean, I just mean that as an example.
yeah. Yeah. You basically just tell it to do something and it does it. And now it can see, it can already hear, it can actually now touch, but it doesn't get that sensory data back because it doesn't have a physical form. But obviously, it can click buttons, it can turn up volumes, then it can turn things down and mute. It basically can act as a human. So we're basically phasing ourselves out, folks. So you should be afraid. Okay. Okay, operator, send me back to the front page of ohmTown.
Look at that. Except I think that was actually you.
I am the operator. So it's from the Matrix, operator.
Oh, okay.
But it's not because it was a human that was an operator, and you'd pick up the phone and say operator. But they were acting as an operator. Anyway, that's it, folks. We are done. We've got all of the information out there that we can for today, and we will be back tomorrow for Reality Hacker, Wanted, and the continuity report. So we're going to have Reality Hacker, which is technology about AR, XR, extended reality, AI, and other technology and science, but it's much more focused. Then we're going to do Wanted, which is all about gadgets and gear. And then there's the continuity report, which is about entertainment. And then on Sunday, we're going to have... Go for it.
We'll have WarCrafters, which is about gaming.
Yep.
Then we'll have Technology Today, which is about science and technology. And then we have Four Wheel Tech, automotive.
There you go. That's it. I'm saying bye, and I'm taking the AI with me. Want to say bye?
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back tomorrow for our weekend edition.
Cheerio. Bye-bye, YouTube. Bye-bye, Twitch.